Yeah, I mean, there's Mel Tucker's out there. I would. There was a comment. That I was going to say it earlier. Joe Brady. That would be a really young guy. I don't know if that would. First year head coach. The guy's never been a head coach anywhere. That would be a tough one. But I mean, and also too, you'd have to think. Think about all the chaos that's around college football right now. You have the USC job open.
Sure.
You have the LSU job that's open. Possibly you're going to have multiple positions open. That's going to guarantee the head coaching position more than likely will be open. I mean, just so much controversy and chaos around college football. And also, too, Terry, I know Florida fan last thing they want to think about this, and I will switch to this. I mean, Georgia's using all this to their advantage right now. Florida's down. Florida State's down. Miami's down. All these recruits that are, a hotbed for Florida. So Georgia's getting a lot of them. And it looks like, Georgia is the only team that's consistent in college football. I mean, Alabama just barely beat LSU. Michigan State lost today. Wake Forest lost today. I mean, that's just another reason why. And you don't want to get caught behind, like you said, Terry. If you wait another year, that could mean you're 3 years behind, and you got to make a move now.
I'll tell you another thing you don't want to get caught behind. We're now this is kind of new, and I think it might have to do with the early signing period. Remember now, the early signing period's only been around 2 or 3 years, right? For the longest time, there was only one signing period. It was always the first Wednesday in February. So if you fired your coach after the final regular season game, you got a guy in a week or so. They still had the new guy and the new staff still had a fighting chance because they had 8 weeks before signing day, right? You could start, carving out some relationships and trying to swing some guys. Well, as I mentioned, there are 18 days between November 28th, the Sunday after the regular season, and December 15th. 18 days. I think that's why you're starting to see coaches get whacked mid-season like we're seeing now. Because, and again, I think Florida, you need to announce that you have an opening, right? I mean, LSU, say what you want, legal or not, they've been sending out their feelers, and USC's been sending out their feelers and calling the agents and kind of, that happens. You can get in trouble a little bit through the NCAA for that, but that happens. You've got to kind of get your name out there and say, hey, our job is open. And, and vice versa. That coach can kind of do the old, hey, Mr. Agent, I know you did. Let LSU know that I wouldn't turn them down if they called. Hey, Florida, So I think it's even more critical that if I'm running Florida, if I was running the University of Florida, president, AD, I would be on the phone right now with my big boosters, my president, and you would see a scroll running tomorrow sometime during the 1 o'clock NFL games. University of Florida and Dan Mullen have decided to part ways. However, has Dan already been working something? But yeah, I would get it out there that I'm in the market for a coach.
Guys, I'm Dylan Denmark alongside Terry Norvell. He hosts a show on Facebook, College Sports Today, with Shane Matthews and Steve Spurrier. This is at the Voice of College Football's YouTube channel. Make sure we're subscribing to the SEC and the Gator channel and getting our numbers up from there. Terry, I appreciate the time, about 20 minutes. I know it's way past your bedtime. Terry, tell them how they can catch your show. And, college basketball is right around the corner. I know that's something right up your alley. It's crazy to say in November, in the middle of college football season. But what can they expect us here on your show Monday?
Yeah, obviously, I will reiterate. I pretty much said that I thought Florida and Dan Mullen should part ways before the South Carolina loss, before the loss. So obviously, I'm going to reiterate that. Obviously, our show is Monday and Friday live at 11 a.m. You can follow on Facebook. Just follow it. You'll get the announcements. Coach Spurrier, I think, will be in. He was in Columbia. I think he'll be in on Monday. He travels a lot and all. And then Friday we'll have Shane Matthews on. He comes on Fridays a lot now, and they're both working. But obviously, that'll be the dominant story. Also, the way the college playoff is playing out. Big day today for some programs, such as I think Oklahoma had a win, even though they didn't play, with a couple teams undefeated losing a tough win, if I can say that, for Cincinnati. I think they've got next to no chance. I think they'll continue to tumble. Georgia, keeps winning. The question, there's some fun side stories with Georgia we've been talking about. Do they have enough offense? They've got plenty of defense, but when they come up against, if they catch an Oklahoma, if they catch I still think Ohio State can score points. They had Ohio State faced Nebraska. Today was Nebraska's circle the wagons, try to win one for the Gipper. They played their tail off for Scott Frost, but they come up short. An Ohio State and Oklahoma. I think Alabama, even against the great Georgia defense, I think those teams can get into the 24-28 range. Can Georgia, with Stetson Bennett, can they score more than about 21 points? So Georgia, I don't think it's an easy march for Georgia. A lot going on. Hard to believe it's week 10. We just wrapped up week 10, and the first Saturday in November is gone now. Unbelievable. The season goes so fast.
Yeah, we only got a month left, and it's crazy to say as it feels like we just started week 1, and we were talking about Anthony Richardson having crazy plays against Florida Atlantic. And then you look up, Nor'easters came through, and we're already through the season. Terry, thanks for the time.
Real quick, I want to reiterate, to me, the damning thing tonight was not necessarily the loss. I didn't think Florida would lose, and I certainly didn't think they'd get routed. Not necessarily the loss, and not necessarily Richardson didn't play because of the hit in Georgia. Not necessarily a bunch of guys didn't play for flu symptoms and some injuries. The issue tonight was the effort. That team has quit on their coach. I mean, I don't care if you're a third stringer. You may not be as physically talented as the guy you're going up against, but you can tell effort. You can get beat and still get good effort. I think that was the telling part. And you saw Mullen all night. He looked like a proverbial dead man coaching.
Yeah, South Carolina was like 13th on offense in the SEC. I think they totaled let me pull it up. I had the numbers.
And remember this, South Carolina coming into tonight's game had won 4 games. Mm-hmm. They had beaten 3 group of 5 teams, and Vanderbilt was the only Power 5 team that they had beaten. Now South Carolina has beaten 2 Power 5 teams this year, Vanderbilt and Florida.
Yeah, South Carolina averaged 3.5 yards a carry, 117 total rushing yards. In the first half alone, South Carolina averaged 8 yards a carry, 147 yards total.
With a kid playing his first Power 5 starting game.
Your third string quarterback on with a first-year head coach. South Carolina had a total average of 328 yards per game, and they had 316 in the first half alone.
You'll hear this a lot, Dylan, and I think you're a little too young to remember this. You'll hear this a lot. This will go down as Dan Mullen. This will be the game that's referenced to Dan Mullen, like the Mississippi State game is referenced to Ron Zook. When Zook finally got fired, he got fired on his way back to Gainesville. Florida lost at Mississippi State, a Mississippi State team that lost to a 1AA team the week before. And I think they might have even got shut out, and they just obliterated Florida. That was his, Waterloo moment. This will be Dan Mullen's Waterloo moment. You can't come back. Everything that's happened in Dan Mullen's tenure at Florida, you can't come back from this.
No, you can't. And, it's I say it's sad to say, but I mean, the guy had nice progress all the way up to last year, the end of the year, and then it seemed like it's all crumbled right in front of us. And
obviously the Kentucky loss hurt. The 2 losses that really hurt, think about it, were the 2 LSU games. Those were the ones that really hurt because, last year finished 8-4. It got kind of ugly. If you add one more win to last year and one more win to this year, both of those LSU games, it's digestible. Maybe those were just crushing with LSU limping in like they did both years in a row. And don't forget, it's hard to beat LSU anytime. You don't want to give away wins over LSU, for God's sakes.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about this year is it's been so inconsistent. I mean, the first 4 games, it's okay, Florida has a good run defense, and Florida's able to run the ball. And then Kentucky happens. And Kentucky, you have offensive linemen not played. I think 3 offensive linemen didn't practice that week. No ability to run the ball. No scoring in the second half. Defense played outstanding. LSU, no run defense whatsoever. LSU has 300 yards rushing. Georgia, you play well defensively, but then you have nothing offensively. And then tonight, it was nothing. There was nothing there. There was no fight. The Dan Mullen and the coaching staff should have just thrown in the towel and just took the plane back to Gainesville.
And don't they, whoever they are, don't they say in just about every sport that if you're consistently inconsistent in multiple aspects, a lot of times that comes back to coaching.
Yeah.
You know, you might not have enough talent, but man, it shouldn't be a different issue every single week. And it was that way with Florida.
Yeah. Terry, thanks for the time. Any final thoughts before I finish up this post-game show with Terry Norvell with College Sports Today?
Yeah, it's tough. You know, I mean, it'll be Samford next week for the Gators. That'll be a small sleepy crowd. They go on the road at Missouri, most likely a noon Eastern, 11 a.m. kickoff. It's always sleepy on that noon kickoff in Columbia, Missouri. That's no given. And I know Florida State struggled today. They had like 20 players out with the flu, including their starting quarterback. I thought Florida State was going to win today over NC State. I had no idea because it got announced like within an hour before kickoff. Mackenzie Milton played quarterback. Travis didn't play. 20-something guys had the flu and didn't play, so they were depleted. Long-winded way of saying Florida State's going to come into Gainesville and want to win that game. That's going to be kind of their bowl game. Mike Norvell's done a pretty nice job keeping that team together, keeping that locker room together, cleaning it out a little bit after the loss to Jacksonville State. Florida State's going to come in and think they're going to win that game. If Florida has totally quit, and it looks like they have, that could be an ugly ball game in Gainesville to wrap up the regular season.
Yeah, you got 3 more. Florida has not been a team that's had any success on the road. At Kentucky, at LSU, and tonight.
Yep.
And boy, Florida might finish 7-5 with a loss after Missouri. And I mean, I know Missouri didn't look good today, but I mean, then again, it's Georgia. And
nor did Florida. Nor did Florida. Imagine this. I'll leave you on this, and I hate to be Chicken Little, but we got to look at everything. If Dan Mullen isn't let go, and he's still behind the scenes hasn't been let go, and he's still coaching, and Florida loses to Florida State, remember, that would be a Florida State team going into Gainesville, beating Florida that lost to Jacksonville State 8 or 9 weeks earlier. Ouch, 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 ouch.